Hello, 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 everybody. Everybody. What's cracking? What's happening? What's going on? How is everybody doing? Guys, people of the sea, people of everywhere. I'm gonna make this video my tragedy story time that day. My tragedy day, I thought I was gonna die. Emotional story time. Guys, I might get very emotional during this video. I can't stop it sometimes, but it hurts me. And I thought I was gonna almost die. Guys, if you don't know my channel by now, you can go look over it, you can go search, you can go roach in my channel and stuff. I talk a lot about, the world, relationships, my things that I'm going through in life. And I put that stuff on the internet because I don't know when's the next. It sounds so wrong, but I don't know when we're ever gonna, no longer be on this earth. And sometimes, I want that to be out on the internet on what I went through, and on how my internet world is and how my world is, being impersonal. If you haven't watched my videos or anything, there is one video says I've broken my own rule, and that video has a lot to do with this video too. It kind of links to it. Now my throat is kind of hurting, so I'm drinking some hot tea right now. I don't know if you can't see it, but it's hot tea. Okay, trust me. Guys, let me start off by saying this. I'm very thankful to be alive right now. And I'm very thankful for everybody that helped me through this. If you want to continue on to listening to my story time, you can continue on. You can put the little summary on what it's about or whatnot. That's totally up to you, but I'm gonna vent right now. So, for those who don't know, hello, Huey. I'm about to vent out a story time, a very, very tragic story time that I've went through, and I'm very grateful to be still living on this earth. And if you want to stick around for the story time, you can. If not, you can always come back to the video once it's uploaded. But yeah, we're gonna talk about this not real quick, because I want to try to make the video at least 35 minutes to 45. We'll see. But yeah, guys, so for those who don't know, and again, a recap on a homie that I have literally known for a whole year. I've known this homie. We basically were side by side all the time, and I supported his business, and I supported everything he did for himself, and he had goals and achievements, and he always wrote those goals and achievements down. He tried to dedicate himself to being a better version of himself. And since I was really close to him, and I was really, really close to him, and I had an emotional bond with him. Now, I know I don't want to be in a relationship or anything like that, and that's when I made the video that I broke my own rule, because I had actually caught feelings for this person when I was nowhere near to try to catch feelings for this person. But I really, really cared about him in all types of ways. I supported him 100% of the way. I encouraged him. I told him he can do better, and then sometimes he'll bring himself down. And it was just like a world mix of emotions. And I hate seeing people struggle, and I try my hardest because I feel like that's the purpose of me kind of living on this earth, is to help others. I'm not helping others financially. I'm not helping them like that, but helping others encourage themselves to be a better version of themselves, to to not put yourself down, and enjoy your life as you can. Now, um I've always been that type of person. Not always, but I could say I'm that type of person that cares way too much now. And then I get hurt in the process. Kind of sad though. Um, but I gotta say that this person, other than what the heck happens, this person is my grandma's neighbor, and I always wanted to talk to him. He ghosted me for like 5 years. A lot of tragedy happened between whatever happened, but just last year, that's when we started talking, and then it was about to come to a year. Now, the tragedy starts, and I know everybody has told me he has literally two lives. He has the business life, and then he has the bar life and the after the fact hours, when he's not working. Now, I understand people have different lives. I can play those roles too, but this other side of him is a side of him that I've never seen before. And recently I just started going to the same bar as him and stuff. And the last, well, I don't even know how to even say it, but a recap on it. I'm pretty sure I did, mention this in one of my live streams. Hello, hello, welcome in. But we went to the bar. Well, he ghosted me after a really tragic night as well with him. But he ghosted me, and I wanted to know why he ghosted me. But I wasn't gonna talk to him. And we were at the same bar at the same time, and I kind of just didn't want to talk. I just wanted to chill and hang out. I was just chilling with my homies that they were there, and they were, talking to him. Well, they were talking to him, but I'm not talking to him. And then he pulls me to the side. He says, "Hey, you, I need to talk to you." And then I was like, "Okay." So then he told me, why I ghosted you? And I was like, I really don't care anymore. I'm over it, because life is too short, guys, to be so mad at a person. And so I'm all like, especially if some stupidity stuff. And so he's like, "You just did too much. You're." Well, he just kept saying, "You just did too much." And I'm like, to me, in my reality, I didn't do nothing. I just told him the truth, and I told him the truth hurts. So then, that was that time. And then they told me, the other girl and the other guy, he told me, just to stay away from him. And he's being very obnoxious, because at the bar, the bar life. Oh my God, they're spinning on his wheel. It's him trying to pick up chicks and take them home with him. And sometimes he goes a little bit too far, and he touches them inappropriately. Now, mind you, this is this side I've never seen him before. Always seen him like in business mode, and sick, like, I don't know, just that another type of person. So then, after quite some time, they kept telling me, just stay away from him. He's not a good guy, and he's this and this and that. And I'm all like, I don't know what to believe, because I'm like, I'm always, well, I'm not always with him, but I've seen the side of him where his business, but I didn't see the side of him like at the bar life and other life. I don't know, whatever life he wants to live in. And so um, it was one time that everybody left. It was about to rain. It was about to thunderstorm. Everybody left the bar, and it was just me and him there talking. And I had no choice. He had no choice, but we talked to each other. Now, mind you, again, it was raining, and we're both kind of intoxicated. But he doesn't live that far from the bar, so he asked me. Well, he not asked, but he told me, let's go to my place and then we can go there. And of course, what's gonna happen there. I mean, we gotta stay on the internet. But after that, I was like, okay, let's go. Because I want the relationship back. Because the way we had it before was just amazing. Like I don't understand. I sometimes I can't even put the finger on it and how the relationship between us two were just like key on. So I kind of wanted that back. I'm more like, I want to chill and hang out again. Like I have no one to chill and hang out with. And then so we went to his house, and then he says, I want to go to the convenience store real quick. I said, you want to go to the convenience store? And he's like, yeah, let's go. And it's really not that far. It's like literally, one, not even a block down. It's literally right there. So he gets in my car. Now, mind you, the red flags with him was a lot of red flags. I have mentioned in a video about red flags in the last one of that red flag. Hello, hello, welcome in. But the red flag is that he don't like cameras. He don't like camera activity or something like that. My whole role out of my whole entire history of living when I was a kid, I've always had a camera. I've always had some sort of, documentation. Like I've always loved to record. I love to take photos. I love to take videos. Like I'm a vlogger. I like cameras. I like to take photos. I just videographer. I like to do all that. And so I always told him that I have cameras in my grandma's house. I have cameras on my car. I'm always watching. He knows I have cameras in my house. That's why he doesn't want to come over, because he's like, don't you have cameras? And I'm like, yeah, that's for my safety. Cameras are literally everywhere in my apartment for my own safety. And so I have a dash camera, and it's a front, the sides, and then the rear. The dash camera, I try when if a passenger, and I never really ever drive people anywhere. Never. I'm very scared of driving someone, and so I'm all like, okay, so I tilted the camera. I said, don't mind the camera, because I tilted it. But when he was sitting on my passenger seat, he was like numb. He did not speak. He did not say nothing. He did not. He literally was just so stiff. We get to the convenience store. He grabs what he was gonna grab. We go back, and I'm over here like listening to music and vibing. And then he just, again, that was something weird about him. So then after that, we go inside, and then things happen. I'm not gonna say what, but after that, I'm not talking about that night. I'm talking about the night that had led up to this too, as well, guys. Just so you know. So then, after that happened, um, every Saturday, mainly every Saturday, I'm off, and every once in a while on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll be off. So Wednesday I was off, which is last week, guys. This is where this tragic night came in. I just wanted to recap within the 15-minute frame. So I'm over here It's Saturday. No, well, it's Saturday leading on to Sunday. In other words, no, 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 no. In that way, like, oh my God, was it really? Oh man, I don't see the days are all mixed up, and I get so mixed up on my days. Okay, no, it was Wednesday. Okay, it was Wednesday when this happened. Now, mind you, I got cameras watching my grandma's house for her own safety. So I knew I kind of wanted to go out to the bar in a way, and I kind of didn't. And I was like, you know what, I'm just chill and vibe here. So I started playing music. I started playing music in my apartment. I was vibing. I was drinking. I was having the time of my life in my apartment with nobody here. And like I said, I'm just chilling and vibing and doing whatever I can, just to chill and vibe, and that's all. That's what I did. Mind you, I still trying to figure out what had happened and trying to process it. I got up, got dressed, and left to the bar. It was like 2:30 in the morning, and I don't know what led me to go to, because I was half past drunk. I'm not talking about tipsy. I was half past drunk. The bar's already closed, so there's no more alcohol being served. But I get there, a lot of people are there, and I'm like, they're all chilling on the patio, vibing, and everybody's just vibing. I don't have any alcohol on me. I just have my water bottle. So, I was thirsty. I was like, okay, let me get my water. So I grabbed my water, and then we were just chilling, vibing. And then like everybody was like in a circle. This one guy was playing the guitar, and then everybody was singing. Like it was just such a fun night. Like, well, fun time at that time. After that, my one of my homies says that I live in this apartments, and y'all guys know, if y'all are OGs here. I used to live in apartments. They're like a lake. It's like a lake apartments, and I've always wanted to go back. So after that, I was like, "There's no way." He's like, "Yeah, let's go to the apartment and go chill out for a little bit, because I know because I told him about the lake. I told him, I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you live there. I can't believe you live there." So we drove to the homie's house. I left my car in the parking lot of this little area, and sometimes I get very scared to leave my car, but at this moment, I'm still like still trying to process, in my brain, but I still remember every kind of moment that I could remember. So I'll drink my tea. So then I'm pretty sure this video is gonna be an hour. If you're here, Huey, listen up. That's totally on you. You can always come back to it. But we chilled there at the lake, and I was sharing my emotional stories to this one guy that I just met. Like I just met him, and then after that, his friend wanted to get picked up from the bar, because he wanted to stay for a while, because he was into the vibes, and there was a lot going on. So he says, okay, I'm ready to be picked up from the bar. So we went back to the bar and picked him up, and they came back to his place. When we came back to his place, they started playing. They started playing. I don't. Let me see if I remember. It was Call of Duty. They were playing Call of Duty in the beginning, and they started playing something else. Now, I at this time I'm already kind of like getting out of the zone, where it's all like, I can't believe you live here in the lake apartments and stuff. And so he's like, I have a bottle of vodka, and so I was like, okay, let's drink that, because I'm thirsty. I'm like, I still had a water with me, but I'm like, I'm still thirsty. Like I wanna drink some more. Like At this time, it was like around 5:30 or so in the morning, literally really, really late. So my most shots that I take is 3 shots, but within a certain amount of frame. Like I would literally gap out a shot. So I would take a shot and then wait 30, 40 minutes and do another one, and then wait 30, 40 minutes and do another one. This didn't go that way. I actually was sending it. So after that, I told the homie, I said, let's go to after hours, which is the after hours. So then after that, I was like, I had the energy to go to afters. Now, I don't know what led me to, because I know that um the homie that I'm talking about, that's my grandma's neighbor, he goes to the bar and he goes to afters. However, again, I have, and let me just say this. However, I knew he was not gonna be there. I felt like he wasn't gonna be there. I just wanted to go vibe. So we get to afters, and then I didn't want to get kicked out, because I think I've mentioned it, how I got kicked out last time. So there's not too many people there. Then I saw him. I saw the one and only that I'm talking about in this video. Now, I will be mentioning his name later when the tragedy actually does happen, but he was there. My grandma's neighbor was there. And I was like, oh my God, he's here. Like, what the heck? And after that, I know I ordered some sort of Smirnoff or something like that, and I grabbed it and I was drinking it. The buddy that was beside me, we're gonna call him Danny. We're gonna call him Danny from now on. But he was beside me. He's the one that drove me there to afters. And since I'm really, like I said, since I'm really, really close to my grandma's neighbor, and I just, wanted to be with him. I was like, I can't believe he's here. I wanna be with him. Like, I wanna go with him to his house. Like, I wanna, So, oh my goodness, guys. Oh. Okay. So after that, we're at 22 minutes right now. After that, the homie that I knew, my grandma's neighbor, says he's about to head out. He's gonna go to his house, and I was like, oh, I want to go with you, because I wanted to go with him. Because what we had. So the homie Danny, he stayed there. He's like, go ahead, go with him if you want to go with him. Now we had no connection at all. Danny's the one that just drove me there. However, there was two people, like two guys, kind of like on his case, that your girl this, your girl that, and stuff like that. And he was backing me up at the same time. It was just kind of like a weird dark moment. So here we are. I'm hugging. For the reference of C, and we're gonna get to the name in a few minutes. For the reference, I'm gonna call him C. So we're waiting for the Uber or the Lyft or whatever it was, and I'm over here hugging, and C's all like, okay, the Uber's about to be here. Okay, so then we get in the Uber, and I still remember, like, again, I'm hugging and hugging and hugging him, like, I just don't want him to go away anymore. Like, I missed him. Like, I really truly missed him. Like, for real. Like, how weird this is gonna sound later. I'm gonna mention it. But hello, welcome in. So then we get to his house. He opens the door. We go in, and I was like, oh my God, I'm finally back in the house. Because again, if y'all haven't heard any of my story times or anything about this guy, go watch them, because this house is a house that I've been wanting to go to. And just a little recap, it's just like a haunted house. So after that, we get in the house. I'm gonna have to, I have to compose myself. I gotta compose myself. Hold on. This is where it gets. This is where it gets interesting. Okay, bear with me. I'm trying not to have so many emotions towards it either. So we get in the house, and I take off, I take off my shoes. We're about to have a moment. And when I tell you we're about to have a moment, we're about to have a moment. The past couple of times when we were gonna have a moment together, and I'm not gonna mention here on the tube of you, but you can connect the dots what moment is. Um. So, oh my goodness. So again, the times that we had a couple of moments, he wanted to record. One time I was having a moment with him and I heard his phone and I saw his flash and I was like, don't record me doing that. And then I think the last time that I was with him, he did record, and I'm pretty sure because I saw a light, but I was in the moment. So this time, he points the camera in my face with the flash on, and it's all I remember is the flash, and I remember him pointing the camera at me. Now, guys, I have a personal assistant on my phone. Everybody does, guys. Everybody should have a personal assistant, whether it's Alexa, Google, what else? Gemini, Siri. I have Bixby. Now, when I feel the need to talk to Bixby, is like when I say it, like, "Hey Bixby, what time is it? Hey Bixby, this." I'll say that. So I said, "Don't record me," and I was like that, and the flash was in my eyes. I said, "Don't record me." And then I said, "I'm gonna record you," and I said, "Hey Bixby." Now I don't have my other self. Here, hold on. Look. After I said, "Hey Bixby," we're just gonna claim that this is the phone right here. I said, "Hey Bixby, record," and then he said, "Oh yeah, you gotta tell her to record." He grabs my phone from my hand. I'm gonna try as best as possible. He grabs the phone from my hand and he throws it against the wall. And when he throws it against the wall, it goes on the floor. When it went on the floor, I couldn't believe my eyes, guys. I could not believe my eyes. When he threw the foam, he grabbed a hammer and he started boom, 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 and just going. He went ham on it. He got on top of my foam and started hammering the out of my foam, like bam, 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 and bam, and like I was like, "Carlos, what the hell? That's my foam. Carlos, what the fuck you doing?" That's all I kept saying, and it like and it was like so emotional, and I just couldn't believe it. And he just kept going crazy on my phone, and I was like, "That is my phone. You're crushing my phone." And I felt hopeless, very hopeless, and I didn't know what to do. So in retaliation, I grabbed his phone and I tried, but I didn't want to. I tried hammering his phone a couple of times, and I just let it go. And I was like, "No, no, I can't believe you did this, Carlos. I really can't believe you did this." And it really hurt me because that was not him. That was not him. And I'm telling you guys, he went completely violent. We both been drinking that night, but he had something else in his system. And I'm going to say this online is that whenever you have that kind of those drugs in you or anything like that of that nature, you're in a different world. And I know he wasn't. After that, I try to keep my distance there's this like 3D printed thing that I gave him. It's like a lift, and I really wanted to grab it so bad. I wanted to like, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to grab that. I wanted to crush it. I wanted to like crush everything inside his house, but I couldn't because my mind is focused on just like, what did you do to my phone? After that, I said, Carlos, no, this is unacceptable, unacceptable. And then so he had his spare phone. When he had his spare phone, he called the cops because I did not know what to do. I stayed at a distance. I thought I was gonna die because of the way his actions were. I tried to stay as a distance as possible because the way he treated my phone, he could have treated me that same way, and it hurt so much to see that. And I always felt so hopeless. And I just kept my distance. And then I was just like, I can't, I don't know what's wrong with you. Why did you do that? I kept telling him, why did you kill my phone? Why did you do that? And he's like, you're not going to be recording me anymore. Ask Bixby to record you again. And then he calls the cops. And the cops, they give him my address, and I'm just at a distance. Like, I'm very disappointed in him because this is not him. And I'm like, this is literally not him at all. This is not the person that I once knew. And then the cops come, and then, they try to figure out what happened. And I said, my phone is destroyed all over the freaking floor. And then he has the audacity to tell them that I'm a psychopath. And I'm over here with my hands underneath my shoulder, my armpits, and I'm like, I'm so disappointed in you, Carlos. I'm so disappointed in you. That's all I kept saying. And then I told them, and they said, you didn't crush your phone. I said, no, that's my phone. That is my life. Why would I crush my own phone for it? And then they kept questioning him, and they questioned me, and then he kept saying that she's a psychopath, and then the cop looks at me. He's like, from the way she looks, she doesn't even look like a psychopath. She looks like she's very sad on what you did to her phone. And then after that, they said, what did you do to? She's like, he did that. She did that to my phone too. And I said, I acted on retaliation. And I told the cops I acted on retaliation because he destroyed my phone. And then then he said something about, I'm going to sue you and I'm going to sue your family for recording me and blah, 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 blah. And I was all like, I was completely devastated. Mind you, the cops said that we were neighbors and that I should go home. And I said, I don't live there. Because we are neighbors, the address is exactly identical to, what my ID says. And then I said, no. No, I don't live here. I need to go back home. And I told him I live somewhere else. And then the cops literally, the cops went inside. I could have done more damage. Like, my mouth was so dry that I had to go inside and get like some sort of water as they took him on the other side to get us away from each other because they didn't know if we were going to attack each other. And so I ran and I got some water that he had there, and I was just drinking that because my mouth was literally dry. And I felt I was so dehydrated. I've been drinking the whole entire night, and the way that they said you're slurring a lot, which is him. He was slurring so much that I was just like regular because that took a turn on me to where it's like I was tipsy, I was drunk, and now I'm just wide awake, because of tragedy. So after that, I was just like, okay. So the cops said, we're going to take you home and you're going to have to sleep everything off. Y'all could press charges on each other. Y'all still both can go to jail at the same time because y'all destroyed each other's property. I said, well, that's the thing. They actually, in general, they could have took us both to jail because of that reason. I destroyed his property on his property, but he destroyed the crap out of my phone, and that was my property. So it's just like we both had that, intention that we could have both gone to jail, but the cops released it, and the cops said that I'm gonna take you home. So then I got in the back of the cop car, I got in the back of the cop car because they had no choice. I had to get in the back of the cop car, and then I felt like he felt accomplished. Sorry, guys, I got notifications. So I got accomplished. He got accomplished, and it really felt annoyed. Now my thing is that I was so scared of my family because they live right next door. I was terrified of my life that he was going to retaliate against my family, and that's all I knew. Like, I didn't trust him at all at this point anymore. I have no phone, I have no communication, I have nothing. Nothing. So the cops, they end up dropping me off. But during the time that it was in the cop car ride, I told them, I said, I should never trust him. Everybody told me to stay away from him. Everybody literally told me to stay away from him, and I didn't. And the reason being is because he has two sides of him. He has literally two sides of him, his work mentality and then his other half. And I can't even freaking believe it. And so after that, back in 2019, guys, back in 2019, there was a guy that was killed in his house. The guy that was killed in his house was a friend of his. Supposedly, the guy he ended up having some friends over. The friends ended up coming over and killing him in his face. And I felt like I believed him because of the way he said it. He says my friend got alive right here and stuff like that. And so I'm more like, I'm telling them the story of that story, and they're like, yeah, I think I remember that case. It was like 2019. I was like, it was a long time ago at the same address. And I said, I don't know, I just thought I can trust him. I thought we were cool. I thought everything of that nature. And then after that, I told them. They dropped me off, and I tried, I was trying to compose myself, and I was just all over the place. And I even asked the cop if I can get a hug, but the cop ignored me because he's like, no, 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 no. And so after that, I came back home, and all I could remember is saying, F you, Carlos, you destroyed my phone. I can't believe you did. So after that, I was not taking no for an answer. My car is over there. It's like way over there where I left it. And I was like, I have no communication, no nothing. I don't know what to do. And I can't leave my car. I can't go to sleep. So then I get up, and I try to compose myself, and I start running to the street, and I start running and running, like I'm fast paced running, and I'm going to this back street, and I'm like, I'm getting tired. I had got a water bottle. I was smart enough to get a water bottle and take it with me, and so I was just walking to my car, and this was like about like a maybe two blocks away, but it felt like an eternity because you're going through a back street. And I was trying to catch up, and as soon as I got to the homie's house, we're gonna call him, I don't know, AT. We're gonna call him AT. As soon as I got to AT's house, where they used to, like I said, where I used to live in the lake apartments. That's where he lived. And I try to remember because it was so blurry. And I was like, where is he? Where does he live again? So I run upstairs. I'm like, okay, this is the house. This is the apartment. This is the apartment. And I banged on the door and banged on the door. And I said, and I had my phone. I had my crushed foam in my hand. I had my crushed foam in my hand. And then I said to him, I said, he tried to kill me. He tried to kill me. Look what he did to my phone. He tried to kill me. And then, he's like, whoa, 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 what happened? What happened? So after that, we went to AT's room, and I just kept crying and crying and crying in his arms. And I was like, I couldn't believe what happened. He crushed my phone. He destroyed my phone. He got on top of my phone and started destroying the crap out of it. And like, after that, he basically was telling me, calm down, because I was hyperventilating. Like I was trying to drink some water. I was like, I was really all over the place. So then, like, I had no choice. I was like, I have to go to work in like about 5 hours, and I'm like, there's no way I can go to work right now, not in this condition, literally not in this condition. So from AT's phone, I went ahead and called my job, and I said, I'm not gonna be able to show up today. for work. And then hello, hello, welcome in. Let me go get my cup real quick. I'll be right back home. So I was crying in AT's arms, and I said I gotta check on my family. That's all I kept saying was, I have to check up on my family. I have to check up on my family because he's the next door neighbor, and I don't want him doing anything stupid. And then he's like, okay, let's go to your neighbor's. I mean, let's go to your let's go to your grandma's house and go check. And I was like, I have to check up on them. I have no other way. I'm so scared. I don't know what's gonna happen. And then after that, we were on our way to downstairs so I can grab my car and go, go to my grandma's and make sure she's all right. And so we were way downstairs. That's when Danny. That's when Danny comes in. The name. These are not the real names, but these are the names I'm giving them. That's where Danny comes in. Danny sees me, and I start bawling, crying, and Danny was looking at me like I I was looking for you. I was looking for. He's like, I called you and I called you and I called you, and then like I was just crying in his arms, and I said, he tried, and then he just like was devastation because he put the blame on himself. Danny, he literally put the blame on himself because he was. I don't know. I guess I really don't know, but he claimed that he was supposed to be responsible for me, but I wanted to go with Carlos because because of me and Carlos had a thing. And so it's just like he was so worried, and I said I have to go check up on my family. I need to go check up my family because I don't want him doing something stupid, and I can't see them. Like, I can't see the cameras, I can't see nothing. My mind is all blown. And of course I had my tablet. My mind was so blown that I didn't even think of my tablet in the car. So I was like, I have to go check because my tablet is there and it has access. If I have access to internet, I can see the cameras there. And so I'm just like, I don't know, what's all over the place. So me and Danny went in to go to my grandma's house, and I checked up on him, and I made sure checked up on her, make sure she was fine. Of course, I didn't go inside. She doesn't know nothing at all. And I'm telling you, she don't know nothing. So then so then after that, we go back to the lake apartments, and we sit there, and I told him, I said, man, I just wanted to check up on them, make sure they're fine. And then the other Danny is like, I'm living in my car right now, but I can be with you and stuff. And I was like, yeah, just, I didn't know this guy. I don't know Danny at all. Like, I don't let people in my apartment if I don't know them, and I didn't know him at all. So, but I see that he has a good spirit, and I'm all like, why don't you come with me to my place and make sure I'm fine? Because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to cope with what happened. I can't even process on what the heck happened. So then we get to my apartment, and I try to clear things up, and I said, I don't want this to be like so tragedy or whatnot, but you know you can come to my apartment. Of course, I try to lighten up the mood, try to get everything like out of my system and stuff, and trying to focus on happy thoughts and stuff. And he comes to my apartment, and y'all guys know how my apartment looks. I have a whole bunch of Hot Wheels. I have a whole bunch going on. And then he's like so amazed at what's going on. He's like, wow, at this time, I don't remember. I think it was around 11 o'clock a.m. or something like that. And after that, I was just crying and crying. That's all I remember, is like crying and crying and crying in his arms. And then I was just like, I can't believe this happened. How am I gonna get a phone? How am I gonna communicate? My grandma's gonna get worried. Like, that's all I kept thinking. Like, but I was still home. So I'm just like, okay. I was literally, I didn't want to sleep because I couldn't sleep. I wanted to get a phone, and I wanted to make sure. Danny was just absolutely amazing person. literally, he helped me through, and he's just like, when I tell you, people come in your life for a reason, guys. And people come in your life for a freaking reason. Sometimes we don't know where that reason is for, but they do. So then Danny was so concerned about my phone. He's like, "We gotta get you a phone. We're gonna figure out something." And so we went. So we went and I tried my hardest to find a phone that I've once had before, and I couldn't. I was like, this won't work because these are bad. All these phones, and mind you, guys, I've been having my phone since probably 2000. Well, let's just say, I don't know when the 2000, but I probably like 5 years. That's how long I've been having the phone. Like my phone, I try to take care of my stuff, and I know I'm a very responsible person with my stuff. So we were trying to figure out what we can do. He was trying to help me out as much as possible to help me get back on the road again with a new phone. So I said, let's go to pawn shops, or see what we can do. So we went to some pawn shops. Like, we did not sleep. Let's just say that we did not sleep. My whole dedication, I was basically trying to figure out how to get another phone. And so I tried to get the SIM card out. The SIM card, I got the SIM card up, but my SD card was completely destroyed. And and after that, I said, okay, I got the SIM card out, and all we need to do is find another phone so I can, put the SIM card in that. Mind you, too, he had a iPhone that he was trying to unlock, but it wouldn't unlock. There was something about iPhone that you have to do. I don't know. So after that, I was literally still so devastated, still so mind boggling. So we went to the first pawn shop. It had cell phones. And while we're just looking around, it's like we're gonna go to pawn shop, and mind you, I didn't want to do anymore. I was so frustrated. I was literally so frustrated on the whole situation that he's like, we're gonna go to this other pawn shop. We're gonna see if they have a phone. Now, pawn shops don't have any phones anymore because of how high they get stolen. So most of the times that the phones that are at the pawn shops are highly stolen, so they don't really take in phones anymore unless it's something else. I'm not sure how it goes anymore. But after that, I was literally, we were going up and down. We came back, and we came back to the same pawn shop that we first got there for, and we tried to put the SD card in there, and it wasn't working. So then we came back to the my apartment, tried to recap on how I'm gonna get a new phone. And then after that, we started looking at phone plans on like free phone stuff, because there's phone plans, and I'm like, I don't want to change my cell phone like number. Like, I've been having my cell phone number. Literally, I've been having my cell phone number since 2016. Like a very long time. That's how long I've been having that cell phone number. So then after that, we were looking at phone plans and see what phone I could get for free if I sign up and stuff like that. So we went to I don't I don't remember what phone company it was, because it's just like it was so much going on. I don't remember what phone company it is, but we went, and then they said that they needed the SD card. We had to come back, and so I tried to sign up for a big with like getting a free phone. All of them were so big and bulky. I was like, I don't want a big, like, even though it's free, I don't want a big phone. I don't want one like this. Like, even though the circumstances, or the way the circumstances are right now, I was still in that mode where it's like I still cared. about a small phone. And I was like, no, 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 I don't want a big phone. And he's like, it's just for right now. It's like, I, I'm going to be spending more on this big phone. And then it's just like, my mind was all over the place because I'm not sure what to do. Because, the tragedy that happened, and it just keeps replaying in my mind. After that, we came back and we tried to figure things out. Like, Danny stayed with me the whole entire time. I mean, the whole entire time. He held me. I cried with him, and he's just like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna figure something out. And after that, I knew Danny was homeless because he told me, but I didn't know any of the story of what happened. Like, I think he told me how he got homeless or whatnot, but my mind is not focused on that. My mind was all over the place. So after that, like, the next day happened. I needed to go to work, and I was trying to compose myself how I was gonna go to work, and we're trying to figure out how to get my same number into another phone, because that night I had, oh yeah, I almost forgot about that. prior to that Prior to the night ending, I had called my grandma, and this was the last resort. I called my grandma, and I texted her in the morning, and then I said I lost my phone. Oh my god, my phone. What the heck was that? Oh, but I told her I lost my phone, and I didn't just see if I could try to get it back. And then and I said, "Is there any phones that you have?" Um, oh yeah, because we went to go get a SIM card. Oh my god, guys, it was such all over the place. So I thought by getting a new SIM card and transferring the SIM card, like, it was such a nightmare, guys. My whole night was just a nightmare. And so, I have tracker phone, and that's the company I use. Now you get those at Walgreens and stuff like that. Now Nanny used to work at Walgreens. Luckily, one time, I mean, not one time, but that time, like, I don't know. Oh my god, it was just such a fuzz. Like, it's still there in my memory, but it's just like, right now that I'm telling the story, it's like all over. So then I get a new SIM card, and then I called my grandma, and I said, if she has any spare phones, and I went to, I was so nervous. I mean, when I tell you so nervous, because my grandma, she worries a lot, and I don't want her to know at all what happened between me and Carlos, like, literally, because I was just like, no, they're literally, I don't know. It's such all over the place. So then after that, I go to my grandma's, and I told her, there's so much going on. Like, the days were so mixed that I'm just like, am I mixing the days? I didn't. I for sure literally didn't sleep for like 3 days. I mean, I slept, but not slept. Like, I couldn't. I didn't have enough time to sleep it off. Like, it was just so much going on. So I get the phone, and then the next day is when I had to go to work, and then that's when I had told Danny, and I said, come to work with me, follow me, because we need to figure this out on how to get. While I was working, he was trying to figure out how can I transfer my number to one SIM card to another SIM card, and like how to do the SIM card, activation, and they couldn't find me in the system, and I couldn't. They try to email me, like, it was just such all over the place. And so after that happened, um he went along his way. We could only do so much. And then after that, you know I knew, like I said, I know that I felt weird. Like, Danny stick with me through that night, through that night that happened, which was on a Wednesday, right? Like, it's so mixed. It's so mixed emotions. So Wednesday happened, then after that, the next day, and then he stayed with me another night, and I didn't want to be alone. I am a person that loves to be alone, guys. I'm a person that loves to be alone, but this hurt me. This absolutely hurt me so freaking much. Right, give me a sec, guys. Let me go empty my cup. This hurt me a lot, guys. Now, like I said, where are we? We're at 56 minutes. When I tell you, guys, that was not the same person. That was not the same person. That was not the Carlos I knew. I've been warned from other people about how he is and who he is, and I don't see that. Because, again, in the beginning of this video, I talked about him. I talked about me dedicating well, I just talk about nothing but good things because that's what he's, in my eyes, not anymore. He was a good person. And I mean, it was a good person. What happened? I don't know if I'm gonna get. I don't know. But he was using, and I told him to stop using. I didn't physically tell him stop, but I told him. He said that he was gonna stop using, and I was like, go ahead, go forward with it. I can't just physically tell him to stop using. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean when I tell you about using. I fully believed in his business. I fully believed that he could change. I fully believe he could do better in life if he put his dedication to it. I had a lot of faith in him. And that night showed me and destroyed me. He didn't just destroy my phone, but he destroyed the feelings that I've had towards him, and he destroyed those memories that were great. And I say he's not a bad guy at all, but the using is the one that made him to a monster, guys. If you ever had anybody change in front of your face, just so you know, it freaking hurts so much. Because you thought better of this person. You thought they could change. You thought they could do all these things. It really hurts. Mind you, guys, I have cried on the internet before. And I'm just letting you know, this is my tragedy story. I thought I was gonna die. Because he could have turned the tables on me. And that time that he was destroying my phone, it could have been me. I felt everything flash before my eyes. Not only was he doing that, but I saw the last moments of life. I saw everything flash. I had the best time that day with my grandma, my grandparents, my dad. I was talking to them about things, and I literally, it was like a whole scenery just happened in front of you. I don't know how to explain it, guys. But if you ever had some tragedy happen or you almost die or something like that, your life flashes before your life. It's again, it's almost like a movie where you see everything. And I saw me talking to my coworkers. I saw me, talking about him too. I talked to one coworker mainly about him, and I was like, I don't know why I'm telling you about him at all. I literally saw everything. I cleaned my whole apartment that day. I don't clean like that in a long time. But I've always said in my the way I see it, I try to keep my apartment clean as possible because if anything was to happen to me and they come into the apartment, they're going to see that I was a clean person, and I am a clean person. But I want them to know that, everything was left like this, and it's just. Let me go get it real quick. Now, guys, this really hurts. This really, really hurts to see. It really does. But here's my phone. This is my phone, my dedication, my life, and having this phone for 5 years plus, probably. There's a little piece of the backing. You can barely see it in the tempered glass. And then I just bought a new foam case for it. A brand new foam case. Not even 5 hours old. Gone. I just want to tell you, everybody, that I did buy the same foam. I love small foams. I had no choice because I'm like, I do not want a big foam. So I bought a smaller foam. The same foam, I mean. And I bought it off of Amazon. I told my grandma to drop it off, and I put everything in it, and I tried my carrier, and my carrier just wasn't having it. I made 2 accounts with a different phone number, and they still couldn't find my account, and I just gave up, and I went to Boost Mobile and got me Boost Mobile a line, and now I have to go to the bank and dispute the charges against Tracker Phone because they don't want to give me a refund because they can't take authorization whenever they keep messing up my email address. So Track Phone is not good. Not good at all, because whoever's running Track Phone, they don't know how to input your email address correctly, apparently. I opened another line, I gave them the same email address, and then they forget it again. I don't know. Now, I don't know who's going to come across this video. Whoever does, that I know, I want to thank y'all for helping me so much throughout this process. I couldn't imagine myself going through it by myself. I couldn't imagine me going through this process by myself, and I'm so grateful and very, very thankful for everybody being there in support of me. Not only that, but I made new people in my life that I didn't know, and they're just at the bar, but they support me fully 1,000%. I didn't think, to be honest, I really didn't think a lone wolf like me could ever find friends. And if y'all know my channel, y'all know me. I don't know the definition of a friend. I never had one. But life showed me that there are people that can care about you and you don't even know them. I thank Danny for being there for me for about 3 days. He stayed with me. Stayed with me. It really hurts me to think about the tragedy. Now, the weekend shows up and Carlos is out of town, and I feel like he is out of town because he's running away from his problems. But now everybody's at the bar. Everybody's gonna know what he has done. Everybody's gonna know that he's actually the problem. And if I do make another video about him again, I don't even know. Because I can't trust the guy anymore. After what he did to my phone, he could have done it to me. I wouldn't no longer be on this earth anymore. All because of using. If you know someone, guys, that is using, I hope they get the help they need. Sometimes people really do need to go to rehab. Because knowing someone that you used to know that was sober and you see them go through this, it hurts. It hurts a lot, guys. I'm hurting because I knew he's not that person. So guys, I knew this was gonna be like an hour-long video, especially, Huey coming in the building and stuff. And I do have a new microphone, guys. I said that in my last live stream. I was gonna use it, but I have to tell this side of the story. If you were here watching, thank you. If you know anybody else, if you heard my story, thank you also. But if you know anybody that you used to know that had literally changed right in front of your eyes because of using, let me know in that comment section down below. It's the worst feeling ever because I was side by side with this person. I hate it when people change like that. Just like that. Not for the better, but for the worse. And I'm pretty sure he's embarrassed of what happened. I could have sworn I heard a bell. But anyways, guys, so I don't know why it's going in and out of focus. Thank you, Huey, for being here. This is a very emotional video. I knew I was going to cry during this video. My tragic day, and I thought I was going to die, guys. I could have I couldn't have been on this earth anymore. And I'm greatly appreciate me, stepping back, and I'm greatly appreciate that he took it out on the phone than me. At the same time, my heart is destroyed by the person that did it. Even though he didn't ledge at me, he didn't hurt me, he could have. He didn't, but he could have. And that's what hurts the most. So there's no way I could trust him ever again. And Carlos, if you see this video, this is you. You destroyed a person now. And then now you're going to get destroyed all over the place. So don't come back to Houston. We know where you live. Everybody does. So this video is all because of Carlos de Luna. F you. You destroyed everybody. Destroyed me for the most. I believed in you. I had faith in you. You destroyed it. Thank you, Huey, for being here. Thank you for supporting. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Ow! Ow, 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 ow.